Welcome to Sanctuary Signal, the voice that cuts through the noise. No sides, no tribes, just vibes for the call to unify and build something real. I'm your host, Caleb, and last time I said this space is about tuning out the noise and tuning back into each other. Today, I want to zoom in on something that quietly runs our lives more than we notice. Patterns. Not just the little habits that we fall into, but the big loops society keeps us running on. And once you see them, you won't unsee them. Think about the last week of your life. If I asked you what happened in detail on Tuesday, would you remember? Or would it blur together with Monday and Wednesday? That is called running on autopilot. You know what I mean. You wake up, you do the routine, crash at night, repeat. Half the time, you don't even remember what happened in between. You drove to work, but can't recall the drive. You scrolled your phone, then realized an hour vanished. For me, I've caught myself multiple times zoning out behind the wheel. 1 second, I'm pulling out of the parking lot. The next, I'm at home with no real recollection of the trip. That's autopilot. It's sneaky. Now, to be fair, autopilot isn't bad in itself. Brushing your teeth, making coffee, tying your shoes. If we had to rethink those every single time, life would be chaos. The brain automates repeated tasks to save energy. That's biology. But here's where it turns. When a pattern starts serving somebody else more than it serves you, that's when you start sharing your autonomy for others to benefit. That's when you're not just on autopilot, you're being farmed. And it's not just our personal routines, the bigger world runs on patterns too. They're just harder to see because we're swimming in them. Take the outrage cycle. A headline drops, you click it, you share it, you argue with strangers, then a new headline drops, and the whole thing resets. Cue, routine, reward. Who wins? Not you. Not me. The system that feeds on that attention. Or the work, spend, numb, repeat cycle. Stress hits, so you grab convenience, fast food, streaming, scrolling, online shopping. You feel better for a second, then you're back at it. It's not random, that's designed. It's profitable for someone else. Even politics is a loop. Blue versus red, left versus right. Cue the fear, the outrage, the reward of feeling righteous. But while we're locked in the loop, the machine keeps running in the background. Here's the blunt truth. If something keeps repeating, it's not just chance. It's incentivized to repeat. This is why you almost never see middle ground in mainstream politics. It's not because people don't want it. Most people I talk to, left, right, or checked out, would love some sanity in the middle. But middle ground doesn't sell. Outrage sells. Certainty sells. Conflict raises money. Keeps you glued to a screen. Middle ground doesn't trend. Think about nature for a second. The edge of a forest where it meets the field. That's where you find most of the life. Diversity thrives in the middle zone. But in media, that fertile middle gets paved over because balance doesn't generate clicks. So what do most people do? They go numb. They keep running the loops without looking up. So how do you break out of a loop like this? Not with arguments. You don't out-debate a pattern. You replace it. And you do it small first. Scale matters. People are wired to cooperate face to face. When the group is too big, the loop defaults back into hierarchy. That means new patterns start small. A neighborhood that grows food together so no one goes hungry in food deserts. A local co-op where the people doing the work actually own the work. Time banks where you trade what you can do for what someone else can do. A weekly gathering where problems get solved by the people living with them, not some distant official. These are replacement loops. They feed people directly. They return power locally. And here's the kicker. Once people feel the reward, the old loop starts starving. What if just your street tried this for 30 days? Imagine knocking on your neighbor's door with a bag of homegrown food, or trading an hour of yard work for an hour of childcare. That's a loop that nourishes instead of drains. This is why I'm trying to build my nonprofit, not as some fantasy escape, but as a lab, a place where we can test new patterns in real time, whether that's massage, yoga, herbal medicine, food cultivation, not locked up in institutions, but shared in community. Picture it. Walking into a space where food grows at arm's reach. People are learning together, and what you give comes back in the form that feeds you. Not through slogans or through ideology, just through testing what works and discarding what doesn't. And that's the mission. If a pattern lifts people up, we keep it. If it burns people out or creates hierarchy, we break it down and start again. Let's make this practical. Here's a 3-day challenge. Day 1, notice one loop that drains you and write it down. Day 2, identify the cue, what sparks it, and the reward, whatever you get from it. And day 3, find a way to swap that routine. As an example, if doom scrolling is your go-to when you're tired, try this. Same cue, same need, but a new routine. Take a walk, call a friend, or maybe journal for 10 minutes. It sounds small, but you do it once and you'll feel the shift. You do it a few times and that old loop starts to crack a little. Here's the blunt truth. You can't heal inside a pattern designed to harvest you. So, name the loop. Replace it. Repeat the new one until it sticks. And remember, it's not the people who are the problem. It's the system they've been taught to keep running. But together, we can say no. Together, we can write better patterns. I'm Caleb. This is Sanctuary Signal, with no sides, no tribes, just vibes for the call to unify. I'll catch you next time.